that? It's like a bison's penis. What is that shit?
If you love me, please don't judge me. Got my hands tied, the power's above me. Don't shoot the messenger, I'm just a puppet here. If you wanna place blame, then look to the puppeteer. Family, fortune, envy, jealousy, privilege, passed on, legacy, secret, sabotage, borderline, felony, suicide, subtract, selfish, pedigree, yeah.
Oh boy, where the fuck do we begin with what this took place in the F1 race at Belgium today? Where do we begin with what happened? Okay. This race, how do we sum it up perfectly? It was a fucking embarrassment. Let's get it out of the way. What an absolute fucking joke this race was. An absolute fucking embarrassment to motorsports. What the fuck was this? Seriously, how the fuck was running 2 laps count as a fucking race? We literally waited 4 hours to run 2 laps behind a fucking safety car? Are you fucking kidding me? What the fuck is this? What a joke. An absolute joke. Like, F1 has now officially become the biggest fucking laughingstock in racing after today. Like, today's Belgium Grand Prix, this race is now the new successor to the 2005 United States Grand Prix. Now, you could mention that Australian Grand Prix, I believe 1991 or 1994, where they ran like 16 laps in 80 out of 81. In 24 minutes. No. That Australian Grand Prix has more goddamn dignity than this fucking bullshit today. Like, honestly, in this race, I feel bad for every fucking fan that went to this race today. Because they got fucked over massively. Big time. Like, this was easily a fucking screw job. We might as well call this race the Belgium screw job. Because the fans got screwed. They got scammed. They got screwed. They got fucked over. Whatever words you want to use for this race, you name it. Like, seriously, what a joke. An absolute joke. And the main reason this race only ran 2 laps was because of heavy monsoon rain. Which, I don't blame them for not wanting to race in the rain. It was pretty dangerous. They probably would get someone killed. I don't blame them for that. I blame them for their that bullshit call. Calling the race, classifying the race as an official race after 2 laps is bullshit. 2 laps is not an official race. It's a joke. That's more of a fucking qualifying time session. Like, honestly, the right call for this race, the right call would have been either cancel the race entirely and get the fuck out of there, or postpone the race till Monday and try again. I mean, IndyCar fucking postpones races sometimes till Monday if they can't get it in. Hell, NASCAR does it a lot. I don't know what the fuck F1's excuse is. Oh yeah, F1's excuse is that there's so many fucking politics involved in the sport, it's fucking ridiculous, and I still can't get the sport sometimes. But yeah, what an embarrassment. What a 4-hour waste of fucking time. This race was 4 hours I'm never fucking getting back ever. Like, anybody that didn't watch this race today, you all made the right call because you missed absolutely fucking nothing. Like, Max Verstappen gets easily the most undeserved win of his career. If anything, this win was more of a fucking Mickey Mouse win. So yeah, this win is the definition of a Mickey Mouse win. So good news, Chase Elliott fans. Chase Elliott is no longer the main focus of the Mickey Mouse Club. Max Verstappen has taken that mantle now. If anything, we may as well call Max Verstappen Mickey Verstappen. And hell, if this race ends up being the deciding factor in who wins the championship this year, then we may as well call this championship a Mickey Mouse Championship. Because this race was the definition of a Mickey Mouse race. It was complete bullshit. Like, how the fuck do you defend this shit? How the fuck do you explain this? There's literally no excuses to explain this. And F1 deserves all the mocking and scowl and laughter that they get because this was an embarrassment to the sport. Like, this race was more embarrassing than the United States GP in 2005 in Indianapolis with that tire war between Michelin and Goodyear, where like all the Michelin teams boycotted the race, and then only 6 cars took to the grid with only two competitive ones, and those being both Ferraris. And you want to know what happened to the US GP after that in Indianapolis? That race destroyed in F1 racing at Indianapolis, because F1 only ran 2 more years before leaving that track for good. F1 may never go back to Indianapolis in the future, because that relationship may be damaged beyond repair. Hell, that race really damaged F1 in the United States, because the F1 didn't visit the US after 2007 for 5 years, mainly because of that debacle. Until they start going to COTA in 2012. And who knows how long they stay at COTA with COTA's financial issues. Who knows how long that continues to last. Especially when F1's going to be running in Miami in 2022. Like the Belgium Grand Prix, I could see it suffering the same fate Indianapolis suffered after 2005. I could see this being the death of F1 racing in Belgium. Because this race here, this is the type of shit you don't come back from. Because look what happened with the US GP in 2005. Indianapolis never recovered with F1 from it after that. It took a while. Like, this race could damage F1 in Belgium. Hell, it could even damage the fan base too. How many viewers could they possibly lose after this bullshit? Because there are a lot of people pissed off about this. I don't blame them. F1 deserves it. Like, honestly, I agree with Lewis Hamilton. Anybody that went to this race today should get refunds. Because this was an absolute fucking scam. This was embarrassing. Especially because all those fans that went to the race today, they waited in a fucking rain, cold-ass rain for 4 hours just to see 2 laps behind a fucking safety car. And somehow that classifies as a fucking race with half points. Give me a fucking break. Fuck off with that garbage. What a joke. Like, F1 has reached a level of embarrassment NASCAR dreams they had. Like, it's a level of embarrassment NASCAR can only dream of. Because anything embarrassing NASCAR's done in the past, well, maybe except Talladega 1969, none of those embarrassments come even remotely close to today's race. This was easily the worst race in F1 history. The worst race. Hell, it wasn't even a race to begin with. It was just a 2-lap Mickey Mouse parade until they said, fuck it, we're calling it a race, let's pack up and get the fuck out of here. And George Russell gets his first career podium, but this podium really doesn't fucking count. And oh, by the way, in this shit show, you wanna know who got the fucking fastest lap in this race? Nikita Mazepin. But that fastest lap don't mean shit because he didn't finish in the top 10. Like, this race was a joke. Like, Whoever thought that having two laps classifies an F1 race, go fuck yourselves, you fucking rich pricks. What a fucking embarrassment. At least I would say is F1's gonna have a lot of work to do to rebound from this embarrassment, because this is the type of shit you don't come back from. Like, goddamn. All I say is that for Season 4 Drive to Survive, this is going to be a really interesting episode of how they're going to do the Belgian GP. Like, like the Belgian GP and then the British GP when Lewis Hamilton tried to kill Verstappen. Like, those are going to be the two most anticipated episodes of Drive to Survive this year. Because when it Drive to Survive for the Belgian GP, we'll get to see how fucking incompetently run F1 is today. Because F1 has now dug themselves into a really big hole after today with this incompetence. Like I said, 2 laps should not classify as a race. In this situation, I'm going to offer 2 choices. Either A, cancel the race entirely, or B, postpone it till tomorrow or a later date. For fuck's sakes. Hell, what was it? The F2 or the F3 race? They ran the other day in these kind of conditions and had no issues. But let's ignore that, though. Because that doesn't fit the FIA's agenda. But yeah, what a fucking joke. FIA has become the biggest laughingstock in F1. I feel bad for anyone that fucking defends this shit. I'm just glad NASCAR is not as embarrassing. I'm just glad NASCAR and IndyCar are not as embarrassing as F1. Especially after today. Like, what an absolute joke. Fuck this race.